So what I could say is that stablecoins are cryptocurrencies, but not all cryptocurrencies are stablecoins.
Businesses in Sub-Saharan Africa face several challenges with business payment for international transactions. And because of these challenges, businesses engaging in cross-border trade around Africa are at the mercy of local currencies, which fluctuates heavily and creates uncertainty. Now here's where stablecoins come in. Welcome to Africa Business Radio. I am Nonso Mordi, and joining me to share insights today on how stablecoins can impact business operations and drive financial inclusion is Stone Atwine, CEO and co-founder of Eversend. Welcome, Stone. It's a pleasure to have you here with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. Now let's get right into it. How did stablecoins come about and how much have they evolved?
Yeah, the idea of a stable digital currency, I think, has been around for a very long time, even before other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin.
Okay.
But the rise of stablecoins really began very seriously in 2015 when cryptocurrency exchanges began listing what we know as USDT today to help traders put money into the exchanges for trade. I think at that time it was just called Tether, and that has pretty much become the first successful stablecoin and the biggest.
Amazing. So now, is there what you're saying? Is there a difference between stablecoins and cryptocurrency?
Yes, it's not a big. It is a big difference, but what we could say is that stablecoins are cryptocurrencies that attempt to peg their market value to some external reference. So let's say US dollars or gold. They are more useful than the more volatile cryptocurrencies if you're thinking of it as a medium of exchange. And so what I could say is that stablecoins are cryptocurrencies, but not all cryptocurrencies are stablecoins. If it makes sense.
It's a bit tricky, but it does make sense. Okay, now let's talk about businesses in Africa, them facing several challenges with business payments for international transactions. Now, what are these challenges exactly? Where do they stem from?
Yeah, I think mostly they stem from legacy systems, legacy financial systems that were not designed for modern trade or for cross-border transfer of value. I could give you a few examples. So today, business payments in Africa are made through the SWIFT messaging system or through debit and credit cards or even direct bank transfer. But these systems have significant disadvantages like high transaction costs, slow delivery is a big one, fraud, and basically inconvenience all around. So, for example, processing cards will take you 3% on average, will cost you 3% on average. SWIFT transfers will cost you $50 to $70, and they will take 2 to 5 days to settle when you pay somebody. And card payments are obviously notorious for fraud and chargebacks, where the consumer may be protected, but the merchants are really not protected. And the beauty of stablecoins is that they can solve all these problems in one go. Transactions will cost maybe even 1 cent to maybe $10 on the expensive Ethereum blockchain, and they will take about 5 to 10 seconds to settle. So somebody will actually get paid in a period of 5 to 10 seconds. I think that's a massive improvement on the current system.
That's amazing. Now, you kind of answered my next question, but I need you to please shed more light. Now, we said in the beginning that businesses have challenges, and you just spoke about that. Now, how can stablecoins, impact these businesses and also foster business operations?
Yeah, I think businesses just need they already know the problem, so they just need to speak to players that are playing in this game. For example, at Eversend, we've got APIs that businesses can use to receive payments, to send payments using stablecoins. We are really betting on stablecoins for different kinds of payments purposes, liquidity management, treasury management, cross-border payments, and other kinds of payments processing. A few companies on the continent are building out the infrastructure that is required for stablecoin payments. So if somebody doesn't reach out to Eversend, can reach out to any of those companies, and the business will be onboarded and helped very quickly. One of the really cool things is that although you may collect your money in stablecoins, if you don't want to touch them, but platforms like Eversend will actually settle those businesses in traditional fiat currencies. So you may not necessarily have to touch that, but you allow your customers or whoever is sending or paying you to use a very convenient way to process payments.
Okay, amazing. Let's talk of awareness now, awareness of stablecoins. Would you say businesses have recognized the need, now the benefits of stablecoins?
I think it's still very early days. I think it starts again from, cryptocurrency exchanges, where pretty much that's the easiest way to send money in so that you can do all your trading with all the other cryptocurrencies. But now we are starting to see businesses take this up. We are working with a few businesses at Eversend, all kinds of businesses, for example, a VC firm that receives money from LPs where they have been facing challenges on those contributions. So we give them an API, and their limited partners can actually send them money. We also provide APIs to a few businesses for payments. So we see a lot of fintech companies that would like to receive stablecoin for their customers. It's starting to take off, but it's still very early days.
Okay. Now, let's talk of financial inclusion. What is the value proposition of stablecoins for financial inclusion?
Yeah, I think, like I mentioned before, they are very big on cross-border trade, and this is really inclusion of SMEs. A lot of people don't understand that small and medium businesses are highly excluded from banking services. Usually, all they want to do at the bank is, take your deposits and lend them to another conglomerate that is much bigger, and there's no other services that they will be providing these SMEs. So I think inclusion of SMEs is big, especially the ones interested in cross-border trade, to use these stablecoins for those transfers. And we also see a big one, which is remittances. I like to give an example of my grandma, where we basically started Eversend because I was frustrated by the ways to send money back to her in Uganda. And what we see with stablecoins is in the back, it's really helping us with settlement of those remittances. My grandma doesn't need to know anything about stablecoins, but she's being financially included because a platform like Eversend is using stablecoins in the background to make her remittances faster, safer. And one very interesting one, I think the very last one we see is payments of international wages. This is on the online labor economy. What we're seeing is that these guys basically, it's very difficult for somebody in Nigeria or in Kenya who is doing online work to be paid by their employer anywhere in the world, really. It could be in Portugal, in the United States. That transfer of value, especially small amounts of money, is very, very difficult. And on the B2B side, we are helping people with collections, with currency exchange, and with payouts. And we are adding a host of other features. We are thinking of doing payment links, payroll, company registration, and all those kinds of things. But in the context of crypto or stablecoins, I think the super cool thing is that we provide those businesses that we work with APIs so that they can, plug in and be crypto ready or stablecoin ready very, very quickly.
Amazing work Eversend is doing. Now, we've spoken about the benefits of stablecoins. Now, we all know that with most things, there are benefits and there are risks as well. With stablecoins, what would you say are the risks involved or the challenges involved with using it?
Yeah, I think the biggest risks would be around the fact that, as we've seen recently, some systems, like what we call algorithmic stablecoins, like USD, the infamous USD recently, some stablecoins that are not fully backed by what they claim to be backed by will always be a problem. I think it's too early for us to have stablecoins, backed by algorithms.
Okay.
And UST is a nice example of everything just going to zero. Imagine you have your 1 UST, which is supposed to be equal to a US dollar, and it goes to 2 cents or something like that. I don't remember what the real number was. So a lot of people lost a lot of money. I think for the users, what we need to know is that we should kind of try and engage with stablecoins that we know are fully backed and also audited by serious players, where we know that they're fully backed by what they claim to be backed by. So, a good example is USDC, which does not hide anything. It is fully backed by dollars, so there's no way, we could have a bank run where people would then lose their money. So I think it's really in the stablecoin that you choose. Financial education is extremely important in this case. And I think that's pretty much it. There's a risk if you don't know what you're doing, but there's no risk if you do your own research.
So you're saying before you go into stablecoins, you should research and know what it is about before getting yourself involved?
Yes, but it's pretty simple.
All right. Okay, so for an individual like me, even a business that wants to acquire stablecoins, how do I go about it?
Yeah, I think I mentioned this earlier. Just talk to any of the companies that are already providing these services. We are happy to help businesses at Eversend, so people can reach out to us. Our website is eversend.co. You can reach out to us, through Twitter and through any of our social media platforms. And very soon we'll actually be putting out a link for registration for our services on the business side. Okay. We've been in constant testing this whole year, and we are almost ready to take it public, but we are already supporting other people who reach out to us. So just reach out to us. You could just ping me on Twitter personally. My handle is Atwine, STONEATWINE, and we will help onboard anybody who is interested.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Stone. You've truly enlightened us on stablecoins and how beneficial it is to the economy.
Thanks for having me.
Right, that was Stone Atwine, CEO and co-founder of Eversend. Don't go anywhere, we'll be back with more.